Hey, Jen Gilchrist here. Happy to be doing this Facebook Live topic today, which is all about why is it important, and I would venture to say, I feel, why is it essential, actually, for especially empaths and highly sensitive people to really master their sixth chakra abilities. This was prompted from a question I got, and I thought it was wonderful and definitely worth diving in deeper to. Many of you may have heard I've been working or enrolling into the Soul Success Unleashed program this past week or so, and we kick off next Thursday. And one of the questions I had from somebody was around, what is the important, that feeling a little bit concerned actually that her greater gifts was more clairaudience and clairsentience, right, which is your ability to feel or hear. And what is the focus of the clairvoyant space, and I'm not very visual, and how can this help me? Like, why is it that you focus on this so strongly, and do you work on other gifts as well? And so I'm going to answer this in full, because I realized as I was thinking, I'm like, wow, there's so much complexity to this, and actually it's a very, very, very important tool that is life-changing for myself and many of my clients. So the first thing I want to share, and some things that I think that a lot of people don't realize about the sixth chakra, it's so much less about the visuals. I think there's this idea of how we want this to look. Like, wow, it would be so great just to have this movie screen of pictures. And yes, that's fun, and I felt the same way. I too, very much, my least accessible gift, I would say, was my clairvoyance, for sure. And I was very much more empathic, unconsciously empathic growing up, very telepathic, still am now, and my knowing, which is a tough one because it's just like a knowing, right? There's no validation there. But the clairvoyance, I mean, I spent an entire year in a clairvoyant program and still never really saw pictures and movies. And to this day, I think I have clients that visually see more clear than I do. However, I have a strong ability of owning my gifts within that clairvoyant space, even though it might show up differently. So one thing I want to say is, first of all, I think sometimes we have this expectation or idea about what it is, but there's so much more to it. And one of the beautiful gifts of clairvoyance and mastering this ability, which is why I focus on it a lot in this course, although we focus on all of your gifts will open up throughout this process together in the Soul Success Unleashed program. But one important thing that I want to say is about the space of neutrality. When you can learn, especially as an empath, to be in your sixth chakra, you are in the space of being able to be neutral, to actually be able to look at the energy and zoom out, to have this very spiritual vantage point, right? When we're empaths, especially highly sensitives, and those of you who are sensitive with your feeling ability, and otherwise, this applies to everything. But why it's so life-changing is that if we feel that we have to feel everything and process everything through our body, and we're matching the world essentially by feeling our way, I mean, this starts to become an unconscious coping pattern. That's what I did from a very young age. It's like, is it safe, And then when things become too overwhelming, we will numb, or we'll disconnect, or we won't process it, or we won't address the deeper healing that comes in. Or if we're dealing with clients, same thing, the blocks can happen if we're having to feel everything to process it, to get our information. While it's a wonderful tool, that will stop us. It'll block us from a lot. When we can learn to actually be up in our sixth chakra, our third eye, accessing our clairvoyance as a way to really read the energy, look at the energy, right? This is our ability of clear seeing. And when I look on my screen, oftentimes it's not necessarily all colors. I just know what I'm seeing. So the beauty of your clairvoyant space is all of your intuitive gifts kind of work together, but it's a space of truth, right? Your ability to discern a truth from a lie, right? Whether it's between you and somebody else, so your level of discernment of seeing truth from you pulling the wool over your own eyes, right, in life, or not looking at something and keeping stuck in an old pattern is how we will experience it, is very prevalent, because we kind of just we can't see our truth, or we're choosing not to see our truth based out of fear. Right? So say hello as you're jumping on, and if this makes sense. And if you have any questions too, this was prompted from a question I got about somebody who was curious about the program. And it was just a really great question and very multifaceted. And so I wanted to talk about it. because I think it's kind of the unspoken gifts of your clairvoyant space. And so one big thing is being able to access through this space is much more beyond seeing colors, although that's very fun and exciting and powerful. The beauty is being able to seize truth. It's being able to come up out of the energy of matching and filling everything, and being able to actually not have this like knee-jerk response and reaction to life or to situations, especially when we're creating change. Because when we're creating change or expanding or stepping through our comfort zone or asking for more or wanting to change a cycle that's painful, if we have to feel everything, then sometimes we will just not deal with it, right? And so having the ability, yes, feeling and processing emotions is something I teach and is a part of it. However, it will be a block. And so sometimes, and so coming up to your clairvoyant space and being able to really have that neutrality, look at the energy, look at what's actually the fear. Like, what is the fear? What is the resistance? Oh, you can see the programming, the family programming or the fear, so much more clearly from this space. Now, another thing that's interesting is so often the things that are blocks to our quote unquote blocks, right? Because we're all soul and we're all body, and our intuition, all of them, and our gifts, our spiritual gifts, are just that clear communication between that, right? A way of communicating. So we do have access to all of them, but there's so much energy in the most, I'd say, blocks and desire to develop the clairvoyance, because there's a lot of pressure to not see the truth, right? To kind of turn a blind eye, or for programming for, religious or government, there's just almost programming to not see the truth and own our power. Because imagine how less ability we could really be controlled, right? And how freeing it actually is to be able to see those patterns within ourselves that have been holding us back. So that is one aspect, to be able to come out and have that spiritual vantage point, to be able to see a truth from a lie, our own, or even in relation to others, right? Or the clarity of our higher path, right? Which might scare us, which is where the blocks come in. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of the clearing and the healing that we do to unblock it, right? To access that space, the healing work, a lot of those same fears are the same fears that are manifesting to stop you from your goals and your dreams. So as we deprogram and activate your clairvoyant space, you're actually clearing the space for you to be able to stretch your comfort zone and really go after your dreams. It's very, very hand in hand, the blocks that we have there, right? Whether, and it starts from a young age, sometimes our clairvoyance is open and the monster's in the closet, and then we start seeing or noticing energy from a young age, and it's too much, and we kind of shut it down. And then we go into feeling because it's something that we can feel more safe within, right? Hey, Norma Jean, glad you're here. But the reality is, we will not go as far as we can go if we have to process everything always through our body a lot of times, right? So being able to open up, see that spiritual vantage point, and being able to see the truth of a situation and where our fears and blocks are is so, so powerful. And then as we unclog that, then we actually are clearing out our fears to actually, well, what does it mean to step into our higher path? What does it mean to really step into our full potential and our purpose, right? Those fears go hand in hand. Sometimes it's simple things that we may not be aware of, like, well, what would that mean for my relationship with my family? Or how will that change things, right? We're afraid of change a lot of times. And so when we can really look at the energy and break it down, we realize that there's nothing to actually be afraid of. And actually we're much more empowered in our decisions and in our choices and the way that we're creating our path, right? Another gift of the clairvoyance, when we can focus our energy and attention there, this is a powerful way of creating visually, using our visualization. Again, whether you see very clearly or not, you're still accessing and engaging with those gifts. That is where we actually create from, right? It's where we're energetically creating our lives from, which is really, really, really powerful when we can learn to focus our energy there. Now, when we do this as well, all of the tools start to unlock. Sometimes I just know what I'm seeing. Sometimes I hear something, right? It gives you a way to focus your energy and your attention in a very present way, engaging with your spiritual gifts, that really unlocks all of your spiritual gifts to be able to work together. Number Jean says your Unleashed program is amazing. Thank you. It's so fun. It's so fun to watch people step into their power and have all these shifts and changes. Like, it just literally lights me up and makes me so excited. And for me, this was so huge, especially as a highly sensitive empath, to be able to get to this space that I don't have to be so overwhelmed by everything that I'm feeling. I don't have to avoid or numb things, right? I can actually look and clear the energy from different chakras and different spaces, which is really, really, really valuable. Now, another thing that it gives you is it gets you your ability to really set the energy for how you want to experience things, right? It gives you the power of changing something. So when you can start to see, where you're at or what it is you're creating from a spiritual perspective, and you can then start to learn the tools. This is what we're going to be teaching, the tools to really be your own reader, right? Be able to read your own energy. And then, of course, we practice within the group, so you get some communication back and forth around that. But as you're learning the tools, it's kind of like all the tools independently of one another are very valuable. And then when it's brought together, you can read auras, you can do past life readings, you can do all these awesome things. But the beauty of it is, while that skill set is very valuable, it's what you're learning and healing in the process to get there that is so much of the power, right? What it takes to actually kind of learn and move through that to allow that to even be possible. So you're learning a great skill set that you can really be your own coach, your own healer, your own life director, if you will, a much stronger conscious creator when you have access to your information and your tools, and knowing that you can clear the energy of your blocks. Look at it, right? Look at the things. We don't have to be afraid of seeing those blocks. In fact, that's the beauty of being able to say, okay, this is what I want to create, and wow, there's kind of some things here that's not allowing me to. So often we just kind of go on default and just kind of not do a lot around changing it, right? But when we can actually look at the energy from a spiritual place and not from our fear or from our pain or from our judgment, but actually from this very spiritually clear, neutral space, we can look at what's working and what's not working, and we can heal it very, very quickly, which is part of the beauty of the tools that we look at and teach throughout this program. Now, another piece is yes, all of your gifts will open up. Right? Like, as we begin to do these healings and clearings of the things that are stopping us from connecting with our spiritual gifts, all of your intuition and all of your gifts begin to open up even more fully. And through the practice together, that was another question I got, being concerned about having to do practice partner shares because you can't read the energy. But don't be afraid. Many people, I had a woman in the course last round that didn't really know what a chakra or the aura was in the beginning, and by the end of the 8 weeks is looking and reading energy that she got validation through the sharing that was very accurate. So it's in the sharing, it's all of that fear and invalidation and perfection and what if I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about, all of that chatter that is between ourselves and our truth and our knowing, right? And that's what holds us back in life. And so when we can bust through that energy together in a safe space where everybody's learning and there's not that pressure, you will exponentially be validated in how accurate you actually do know, how much you actually do see, how much you actually are already aware of, that you didn't really realize or know because you didn't have that backboard of that time to practice and share with another person to get the feedback. And so the rubber really meets the road in the practice sessions. And so I would say definitely don't be afraid or feel like you can't do this because you'll hold somebody else back or you won't be able to read it, because the tools I'm teaching you is just reminding you that you can and how to do it. So I definitely give some structured skill sets that'll be helpful, but I'm also helping with the clearing and activating to actually get you through it, and then you get to implement it so that you'll be so surprised that you can. And that's the amazing thing, the gift of being able to validate how much more access you probably already have than you even realize. We're just not trusting it. And there's so much a difference of being able to be feeling like I'm intuitive and being able to move into the space of, and I can trust myself enough to actually take the action, right? That's huge. That's huge. And also to see where we're holding ourselves back, to look at that resistance, to look at that fear right? If we're in our lower chakras, sometimes that can feel too intense, and we'll just numb and avoid and not actually check it out. But from this the higher vantage point of your third eye, you can actually look at situations from a pretty neutral space, even tough stuff, and be able to use your tools to move through it. And so it's really, really, really powerful. What else did I want to touch on for this? So in some ways, the reading the aura is a small piece of the gem of the program. It's an amazing skill set to be able to read yourself, your family, or for clients. So it's an awesome skill set. But really, it's about looking at energy, being able to discern what is yours, what is not, what is working for you, where is your blocks, what is not. How can you start to do that? And you start to be able to be your own, your own reader, your own coach, your own healer in that way, in such a more empowered way, and have so much more awareness and clarity about what steps you need to actually take and the tools to move the fear and the resistance in order to actually take them. And so that is, it's kind of like we're doing this clearing of the blocks and the fear while we're doing a lot of activating to your information that you are as spirit, right? Reminding you through the clearings and the DNA work and all of that. But then we're putting into implemented practice of how you can utilize these tools in your life to be a conscious creator and move through your own fears and blocks and really create and experience what it is that you actually want, right? And in that process, all of your gifts begin to open up. Now, we do very specifically also work with your clairaudience and your healing abilities and other gifts throughout the course. But I will also be guiding you back a lot of times to that clairvoyant space, because that has the most stop energy, has the most fear in a lot of ways. And being able to visually see, that's just like such a tiny part of it. It's fun and it's exciting, but that is not the most of what it is that you get by being able to actually focus your energy in this very present space of your clairvoyance, right? Visually speaking, I'm much stronger in my knowing and in my clairaudience. All of those other gifts would be the ones that I have the most natural strength with, I would say. And even still, I would say the students and clients that have gone through sometimes have much more visual experiences than I do. However, my clairvoyance is very strong. When I start to look at the energy, people are always like, wow, that's totally accurate. And even though in my mind, my other intuitive gifts are kind of telling me what I'm seeing because I'm focused and centered there. So they really all do work together. So I hope that makes sense, and definitely don't feel like, I think one of the things that's intimidating is like, well, can I do it? Well, of course you can do it. I promise you can do it. It's all those fears and intrepidation and invalidation and perfectionism that, if you are honest, will probably see that those are the same kinds of fears and blocks that stop you in going after your goals or your dreams, or in believing that you can raise your prices, or whatever the individual thing is. It just manifests that way. So the beauty is, as we're kind of working through and unlocking your spiritual gifts and practicing working with them, you're actually clearing the pathway and clearing the fears and clearing the blocks and the unconsciousness and the resistance to that which you actually want to create. And so the beauty is also, when you're doing your healing work, if you do healing work and reading work out in the world, you then always get to elevate yourself as you're elevating with others, right? You start to see the matching pictures that you have with other people, and you start to be able to be in this space of setting your own energy and not matching the world or matching those around you out of a default, which is what I think we are raised with, right? We're kind of used to just matching the energy of everything else. But when we can learn to set our energy and raise our vibration and hold that space, we provide an even deeper space of healing for others and for ourselves at the same time. And so then you get to feel elevated after each session and expanded, and everybody gets to rise together, and it's super, super fun. So let me know if this is making sense or if you have any questions. I still have some 15-minute chats on the calendar available, and if those times don't work, hit reply, message me. Let me know if you'd like to chat. I would love to just, talk with you if you have any questions, because a lot of the questions that have come up with people that I have chatted with, really, once we have a conversation, realize it's not it's not a problem at all. It's actually totally normal, or it's something that's really a non-issue. And so many people have been able to step in and say yes because they're relieved after just kind of having a quick conversation. So I'm definitely available for that via email, or I also have a 15-minute chat link sometimes today, I think over the next couple of days, but definitely let me know if one of those times doesn't work and you want to know more about the Soul Success Unleashed program. I'll also put, I put the link right here in the, I believe it's in the post itself, so you can check it out. But I'd love to hear if you have any other questions or any other concerns that I can help you with, because I am already blown away by the people and the conversations we've been having through the Energetic Mastery bonus calls about how the success and how much more clear and energetically sound people are feeling just in these beginning stages. I just got an email from somebody who used the tools, and she set her conscious intention creation through the tools that we've just started working with over the last week, and she got her miracle, which is super exciting. And so I just, and all of the Energetic Mastery course and bonus calls would be something you get immediate access to as a bonus, available immediately. We kick off next Thursday, the 22nd at 1 Pacific time. And I believe the close cart is next Tuesday. So if this is something you're interested in, I'm making myself as available as I can over the next few days to take in any questions that you guys might have, because I know that this is a life-changing course. It has been for me, it has been for many of my clients, and it would be my honor to support you if you have feeling that call towards joining it, but you have some questions or uncertainties. I would love to answer them for you. So let's see what else we have here. And any questions, part of what we're going to be doing, it's multifaceted in the sense that we'll be learning very effective grounding meditation tools so that you can be present amidst the chaos, which this year, can you imagine, right? It's just nice to be able to have that center in the eye of the hurricane. Helps to relieve the mind chatter and the anxiety and the telepathic overload and all of that. It helps you transcend your limiting fears and patterns and programming, plus give you tools to just continue to do that for yourself the rest of your life, which will help you free yourself from all these limiting cycles and painful cycles of keeping stuck, right? So you can gain a lot more confidence and accuracy in your readings, but also with creating that which you desire to experience. Tons of energetic support, healing work, activating your DNA and spiritual gifts from the meditation and activation standpoint. You guys know I love to do energy work. So that's part of it. And then just learning to strengthen your energetic boundaries. That's huge, right? That creates so much overwhelm as a highly sensitive person. And so these tools will really, really, really be helpful in moving through that. And as soon as you can ground effectively, honestly, that's a huge part. People don't realize that they're not really very grounded in their body, all the way down in their body. And when you are, your level of discernment of your gifts is so much more clear. Right? You're only as clear of a reader or a healer or a channel as you are in your own energy field. And so that is important to create a solid foundation. And so there are people that are brand new through their awakening, brand new to energy work, jumping in, and it's like, wow, awesome job. You're going to have a super solid, clear foundation to build upon. And I've had people who have been in the healing arts industry and who give psychic readings already, who have exponentially accelerated their I would say their confidence, but also their ability to give accurate readings and to not feel as drained and burnt out, because the awareness of their energy versus other people is something we work a lot about. It's really important to be able to have those clear energetic boundaries. So that's a huge piece of it as well. So really the program meets you where you're at and will help you take your gifts to that next level. It's a transformational container that will carry you through the end of 2020, so you can set yourself up into 2021. We are now just into a Mercury retrograde. We have eclipse season coming up, and so it's going to be, in some ways it can be a wild ride, or it can be very transformational and very high manifesting energy. But you have to be able to ground and process the energy at a rapid pace. I think there's a lot of our internal patterns and fears and stuff that are going to be rising to the surface. It's like a pressure cooker, right? This retrograde's in Scorpio. I'm Scorpio rising, so it's that emotion, that deep wounds, those deeper things that will be pushing to the surface. And so being in a group container with that level of support is going to be so helpful to help you create and maximize this transformational time frame so that you can really enter into next year in a whole new space, So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. I put the information about the program to check it out in there. For those of you that haven't finished the replays or you're jumping into the group now, in the pinned post, I had 4 days of activation series, which were super powerful, and some bonuses that are going to be available just for a little bit more time. So you want to check them out if you didn't get to finish them, or if you haven't checked them out, I think you'll enjoy them, and it'll give you a sense of my style of teaching and the type of energy work that I do as well if you're new to me. So thank you guys for joining me. And I don't see any other questions. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them here too. But I don't see any, so let me see. Yeah, no, I think that's it. But I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, we access all the different gifts in the program. We heal on a deep level. You consciously get to create that next level while learning a skill set that you can take out into the world and your business if you should choose. But the biggest part of this is your own inner journey, your own transformation, and it will give you the confidence to trust your intuitive gifts at a much deeper level, which is really exciting. So I think that is it. I do not see any other questions, but sometimes Facebook Live is that way as well. So I'm happy to come back and check this later as well, and feel free to message me or definitely tag me. I think it's best to message or email me though, because I'll be sure to get the message. It's so many comments sometimes in the group. Also, I want to invite you, we are going to be going to do a new moon circle on Friday, tomorrow at 3 Pacific time. So if you want to join me for that intention setting, that would be really fun as well. So I look forward to talking with you again soon, and have a wonderful day.